A 911 call so disturbing that it became a Netflix documentary. A double murder goes unsolved for 3 years. Tragedy strikes a daycare center, and a woman falls off a bridge while crossing it. Let's dive in. 17-year-old Anthony Templet called 911 on June 3, 2019 to confess to shooting and killing his father. The call has since become the focus of a Netflix documentary after the years leading up uncovered a twisted history.
Emergency.
I just killed my dad. What do I need to tell you?
So you said you just killed your dad?
Yeah.
Okay, and is he still alive or?
He might be. I don't know. I think I shot him like 3 times. I think.
You shot him 3 times?
I'm not sure how many times I hit him. I know there's blood on the floor, so I know he's at least been shot once.
Okay.
I shot 3 times at him. He's on the ground.
Okay, you shot him 3 times with a gun?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Or at least I tried to. He tried to attack me. We got into a fist fight, and I ran in his room and locked the door and grabbed the gun. And I unlocked the door, and he tried to get, and then I shot him.
Okay, and around what age is your father?
50-something.
Okay, 50.
I remember.
Okay.
Yes.
And are you there right now, or have you left?
No, I'm still here.
Okay. You still at your dad's house?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And what's your name?
Anthony Joseph Templet. Templet.
P-U-M-P?
T-E-M, like a temple,
Okay.
but add a T at the end.
Okay. Okay, and do you know exactly where you shot him at? The areas?
Yeah.
Where?
Excuse me?
Where?
The address I just gave you, I guess.
No, the different areas of his body.
I aimed for the head, but I might have hit him in the chest. I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
Are the cops coming? Is someone?
Yes, I have an ambulance on the way.
Okay.
Okay, sir, but I am going to transfer you over to another department. They have some additional questions to ask you, okay?
All right. Are you certain that the cops are coming to the right address? Like, I'm not 100% if I give you the exact right address.
You're not sure if that's the right address?
That sounds right. That sounds right.
Okay, stay on the line, okay? I'm going to transfer you over.
Okay.
When police arrived at the Baton Rouge, Louisiana home, they immediately arrested the teen for attempted manslaughter. Anthony was adamant that he had no choice in the shooting. It was self-defense. And as time went on, investigators were led down a dark history of events dating back to before 2002. Anthony's parents, Bert Templet and Teresa Thompson, had an abusive relationship from early on. In 2002, he was charged with 3 separate counts of assault, all filed by Teresa. However, the court in Harris County, Texas, mostly ignored these charges, and 2 of them were dismissed. Oddly, after the 2019 shooting, investigators would say there were never any charges against Bert. In contrast, he was jailed for assaulting Teresa while she was pregnant with Anthony. When the child was 7 months old, the father allegedly beat her and took the baby away. Teresa called 911, but after police chased Bert down, they let him go. As the abuse escalated, the fearful mother started leaving notes around the house that said, "If I die, Bert killed me." Then, one day, Bert's friend came to the house and told Teresa they had been hired to kill her, but he wasn't going to. She had to leave in a rush, but as usual, everything went back to normal in the days that followed. After a particularly bad beating in front of Bert's parents, they left with Teresa. She got out of their car on the highway and took a bus out of town, leaving Anthony behind. When she went back to get him, he was gone. Using all her money, the panicked mother put up missing posters in the area. By 2007, Teresa filed a protection order against Bert, and the custody battle began. When he didn't show up for the hearing, she called his parents and Anthony answered the phone. Immediately, Teresa rushed to fetch her child but wasn't allowed in the house. So instead, she put up the same posters in the area and sought court orders. This angered Bert even more, but Anthony was back in Teresa's custody. The father then stalked the pair for months. One day, Anthony was at home with his grandmother when a policeman showed up and said he had come to pick up the child, that Bert had custody. As it turned out, the two courts didn't know about each other's ruling. The father had the court in Baton Rouge to give him temporary and full custody, which led to Anthony being taken. He had filed multiple documents questioning Teresa's ability to parent, but none of this would come to light until the 2019 murder when on June 3rd, Anthony went to sleep. Around 3 a.m., Bert went into Anthony's room and started looking through his phone, accusing him of calling his stepmother, Susan Templet, while the couple was separated. Even though Bert couldn't find anything, he started screaming at the teen, and that escalated to a physical altercation. Anthony attempted to barricade himself in his room while his father tried to bang down the door. Later, a crack in the door would be submitted as evidence of this. Fearful for what was to come, Anthony grabbed two guns and opened the door. He told investigators that he believed his life was in danger, that his father was the worst he had ever seen him. The 17-year-old fired at Bert, who dropped to the ground from the gunshot. Anthony then shot at him twice more. After the 911 call, police arrived and spoke to the shooter, who they said showed almost no emotions. Inside the house, investigators found one revolver on the kitchen island with the hammer cocked back. The barrel faced the entryway. In the main bedroom, another firearm lay on the bed next to a cell phone, its hammer cocked as well. Bert was lying in the hallway in a pool of blood but breathing. He was transported to the hospital and put on a ventilator. After 4 days with no improvement, Susan turned off the ventilator on June 6, 2019. Since Bert had died, the charges against Anthony were upgraded to manslaughter. During the police interrogation, Anthony said his father would assault him and call him names. However, since there was no bruising or proof of a fight, authorities found the self-defense argument hard to believe. At the same time, neighbors told police that even though it was a close-knit area, they didn't know much about the pair. In fact, some had never even seen Anthony. They also said that Bert often seemed drunk and he was a strange figure. Shortly after Anthony's arrest, a DNA researcher who was intrigued by the case started digging into the teen. Eventually, she made contact with his estranged sister, Natasha. That's when it came to light that he had been taken from them over a decade before. Natasha told a news station, "Bert and my mom were together for about 10 years and it was extremely violent. I can only imagine what Anthony's been through. When he was a baby, Bert would hold him in his arms while abusing my mother." Police were skeptical of the new information, though. Anthony was not listed in the National Crime Information Center as a missing child, and authorities allegedly had no record of charges against Bert. Once he was trialed in front of a grand jury, Anthony's charges were bumped up to second-degree murder. He was moved out of a juvenile detention center and into prison. According to Anthony's lawyer, Jared Ambeau, his client had been isolated and regularly abused by his father. There was definitely regular abuse going on, physical, mental, emotional. The challenge would be proving this in court. Anthony's stepmother, Susan Templet, and stepbrother, Peyton Manino, described the toxic and abusive living environment they experienced with Bert. They were constantly watched on cameras and through other tracking devices. Susan said her husband received notifications on his phone that her car engine had stopped. At one stage, Peyton called his father and said he couldn't live there anymore. The father fetched Peyton and sent police to check on the alleged abuse allegations. But Anthony told officers that he was never abused. This was documented in the police report. As the investigation continued, it became more apparent that the teen was telling the truth. For example, some of Anthony's colleagues said that his father would call his workplace if he hadn't moved from the same spot for a while, even if he was simply completing a lengthy task in that area. Despite the fact that Susan left because of the abuse, she never mentioned anything being on the receiving end in any of the court documents. Ambeau decided the best course of action was to bring in a private psychologist to investigate the abuse claims. The examination found he was not a danger to society. Finally, the charge was reduced back to manslaughter after the prosecutor confirmed that Anthony had acted in self-defense after years of abuse. Then, in 2021, he pleaded no contest to negligible homicide and will serve 5 years of supervised probation with credit for time served. As a condition, Anthony must earn his GED, agree to counseling, and hold either a full-time job or be enrolled in school full-time. If he meets all requirements, then Anthony will be eligible to have his record expunged. Susan Templet and Peyton Menino fetched Anthony from the court on his day of release. To date, he says he had no choice but to shoot his father, especially since the police had come to the house multiple times and no action had been taken. Anthony maintains that he didn't shoot with intent to kill. He was looking for a way out of the house of horrors he was living in. Following his release, Anthony has been trying to rebuild the relationship he lost with his mother and grandmother in Texas, which, according to the documentary, has proved trickier than they'd all hoped. The now 20-year-old's main focus is breaking the cycle of abuse. This episode is sponsored by Scentbird, and I decided to invite a friend of mine, Jesse, to try it out.
I got 3 different fragrances from Scentbird: Confessions of a Rebel, Get a Room, Arquiste Poe, and Derek Lam 10 Crosby, All of Me. My favorite is Confessions of a Rebel, Get a Room. I don't really like floral or candy notes, so it was a really beautiful multi-layered perfume. Its key notes are apple tree, mandarin, cypress, and clary sage. This was perfect, and it still smelled fresh after many hours. Get a Room is also a great unisex perfume because it doesn't lean too feminine or too masculine, so it's the perfect scent for everyone. All of Me has a very fun summertime smell that is white floral leading. Although Poe isn't my style, if you enjoy that salty second skin smell, then you'll love it. If you're not sure what your style is, you can also find that out, where there's a simple quiz that you take, and then they'll let you know what the fragrance is that you'll love. Scentbird lets you choose a new designer fragrance to try every month for just $17. And since you pick what you want to receive, there's no surprises. There's also hundreds of products to choose from. With every fragrance, you'll get a 30-day supply, so you can try it out before committing. Because we know a full-size bottle can be anywhere from $150 to $500. Make sure to use my coupon code TRUECALLS for 55% off at Scentbird. It's just a little over $7 for your first month, and it's available in the USA and Canada.
Thanks, Scentbird, for the sponsorship. You can check out the links below. Let's get back to the video. In February 2012, around 2 a.m., 911 dispatchers received a call about a home invasion on Pinewood Road in the Bethany community near Reedsville. LaDonna and Troy French were found shot to death, and their daughter, Whitley, was treated for cuts.
Wright, I'm getting 911. Somebody broke into your house and shot your parents? Yes. All right, hold on. Ma'am, we're going to get somebody to you. Confirm your address. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, calm down. Calm down. Our dispatcher's gonna send you help, okay? Do you have any idea who it was? No, they came in my room and they started jumping on me and they were trying to cover my mouth. They took my phone and they ran. They had a gun and my parents, they heard me screaming and then they shot my mom and dad and then ran out the door. I don't know how they got in the house. They assaulted her and shot her parents. Yeah. What is your name? Ma'am. Whitley? I've got help on the way to you, okay? Okay. Please hurry. Sorry. Ma'am. Save me, Daddy. Save me. Okay. Ma'am. Ma'am, I need to know where she's hurt at. Can you give me some descriptions? My mother's shot. He's shot in the shoulder. Can you get some cloth or something and put on it, okay? Okay. All right. Subjects, did they leave in a car? I don't know. They just left out my front door. I don't know how they got in. They busted out your front door leaving? No. They opened the lock and shut it. I locked it back. I don't know how they got in because all the doors. So you don't know whether they're outside or which way they may have went? They just ran. They had a hood on their head. I don't know. Dark clothes, white or black? I couldn't see at all.
Okay, you don't know whether they're white males or black males?
No, I don't. I don't know at all. I'm really scared to die.
I know. How old are you?
I'm 19 years old.
All right, you got your doors locked.
Yeah, all the doors
I've
are locked.
got it. We've got it. I'm staying on the line with you. We got
I'm really
every
scared.
deputy in the county's coming your way as fast as they can. I know you are, honey. I know you are.
I don't know why this would happen to me. I don't
So she doesn't know if they took anything. They were wearing hoods and left running on foot.
Yeah. They just ran out the door.
Okay. You're doing good, dear. Just try to stay calm. How old is your dad?
My dad is trying to stay. My dad he's 40. I think he's 47. My mom is 45.
Okay.
Are they almost here? I'm really scared.
They're coming lights and siren, honey. They're coming as fast as they can, okay?
I'm so scared. I'm so scared.
I know you are, dear. You got every right to be.
Come back.
Well, if they know they didn't get away with anything, you just got your doors locked and just stay there. Do you have a weapon in the house with you?
I don't know where my dad has. I think I know where the gun is, but I don't know where it is.
Okay.
I think I was shot in the arm. My arm is bleeding. I don't know.
So you were shot in the arm too?
I don't know. He didn't. I don't think he shot me. He might have cut me, but my arm is bleeding. But I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just worried about my parents.
Okay.
I'm scared that he's watching me. Daddy.
Okay. You got it, ma'am. You got to stay calm and keep bandages on him, okay?
I am. I have the towel under his shoulder, and hopefully it's soaking the blood up.
Okay, just tell him to keep it close to his body and not to move. Neither one, they don't move.
He doesn't breathe, and then he inhales very fast. Is that a bad sign?
He's probably in shock of what's happened to him, okay?
Okay. My
He just
mom,
need.
she's not making any noises. I don't want to go. She's laying near the door, and I don't want to go over there. I'm scared. My dad is laying in the kitchen.
He's laying in the kitchen floor. Where's your mom at?
My mom is right near the front door.
Near the front door.
Yeah, she's laying there.
Okay. All right, can you get to her to see if she's breathing? The daughter may have an arm wound. The father's shot near the shoulder. Respiration's irregular. Mother's down on the floor, not making any noise. Okay.
Are they almost here?
Well, the fire and the medic trucks and stuff are nearby. We got to let the sheriff's deputies try to get in there. Did they have handguns? Did they have rifles?
It was a handgun.
So they had pistols?
It was a handgun. That's all I know. I don't know anything about guns, really.
Okay. I mean, was it just a small gun in his hand?
Yeah, a small gun. He pulled it out when he ran down the stairs and shot my mom because she was near the stairs first. And then...
So they snuck in to rob and y'all surprised them?
Yeah, I had no idea. And my mom and dad were downstairs, and I was upstairs in my room asleep.
Okay.
Are they almost here? Please say they're almost here. I'm scared.
Okay. As long as you got the doors locked, is your dad alert to tell you enough to tell you where his gun is?
Yeah, he's not breathing anymore. He's not doing the deep breaths anymore. His eyes are closed.
All right, is he moving in the air at all?
He's not moving. He doesn't have a pulse.
He doesn't have a pulse.
Daddy. I'm giving him CPR.
She's initiating CPR on her dad.
I'm up to 35.
She's initiating CPR. Is there a deputy there? Ma'am? Ma'am?
No, there's not.
Okay, don't let nobody in till I tell you to.
Okay. I hear them coming.
All right, she hears sirens. Do not open your door till I tell you to, okay?
Yes, sir.
We got to make sure the deputies get there first and make sure that if they're still around, they can find them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And when they do, there'll be a lot of people in there in a hurry.
I know.
You've been doing great, dear, okay?
Is somebody gonna come in? I just need somebody.
Is the law enforcement out there?
Yes, he is.
All right, if the law enforcement's out there and it's seen secure, you can let him in.
He hasn't knocked on the door yet.
If it's law enforcement, yes. Ma'am, is there a trooper inside with you?
Yes. Oh, great. Yes.
One trooper inside. She's talking with him, but he's by himself.
Okay.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, then what's the trooper doing?
He's looking outside.
All right, he's checking around the residence now.
Mama.
I know. Here she come.
Yes, sir.
All right, look, she's saying that the one is gone. There's two here. As far as I know, the scene secure have not cleared the house. If you want to go ahead and send them in at this time, tell them to come in the driveway at the side door, and I'll stand by right here, okay? Looks like you got two, definitely 10-7 at this time. The female's right here.
Okay, does the young female, is she wounded also?
Yeah, she's got an injury, but I don't know if it's a gunshot or a cut.
Okay, is her father in 1067? Because she was doing CPR on him.
It looks like both of them are. It appears that both of them are.
Okay, trooper says possible 2 1067s come in through the side door. Where's the deputies at now?
Stand by.
Who is it? Oh, wait, my name is I don't know.
I want to go. Who's at the door?
Okay, troopers talking to him. They come around the side door. Trooper, they're checking the house. They're securing the house.
According to 19-year-old Whitley French, she awoke to a stranger in her bedroom in the early hours of the morning. When the teen screamed, the intruder ran from her room and her parents ran to help her. Whitley told the police that the man began shooting at her parents once downstairs. It's unclear where her 14-year-old brother, Hunter, was at the time of the home invasion. 8 months later, the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office held a news conference where Sheriff Sam Page said they had a DNA profile of the killer that confirmed it was a man. But it didn't match anything stored in the state or national databases. Page told the press that the murder weapon, a high .9mm handgun, belonged to Troy French. The father had told his family that the gun was missing in December 2011. Investigators believed the shooter likely had a connection to the family and could have known them well enough to get the gun from the house. Still, no arrests were made. By January 2013, Governor Pat McCrory offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to an arrest in the case. More than 3 years after the murders, police finally made an arrest. 28-year-old Jose Alvarez Jr., who was Whitley's brother-in-law. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in connection to the French murders. In court, the DA described the killer as someone who was enamored and obsessed with the French home. While Alvarez would do yard work there, he found a hidey key, then made a copy. For months, he would spend time inside the home, often watching the family sleep. Alvarez was handed 2 consecutive life sentences without parole after he pleaded guilty. Even Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page spoke at the sentencing, saying, "Every day until this case was solved, I thought about it, because I know the family. I'm glad today to saw this person responsible is going to prison for these acts for the rest of his natural life." A parent's worst nightmare came true when their 3-year-old died at Little Miracles Academy Daycare Center in Florida. In heartbreaking 911 calls from August 2017, the child was found 12 hours after being left in a sweltering vehicle.
911 Alexis on a recorded line. What's the location of your emergency?
I need a paramedic, and I need police. The paramedic told me that anybody can put up.
Okay, what's the address where you need police?
Somebody right now.
Where?
Let me see. And around the corner of the American Academy. Daycare.
Okay, and is this a house, a business?
Oh, wait. So right now,
Is this a house or a business?
there's a business. It's a child. It's a child. But let me break it down to you. It's a child. Let's in the van. The driver that was telling about. I'm performing that the child is dead. That's the kind of emergency that I need right now.
Okay, so somebody left a child there?
Left a child in the van, and the child, I didn't know anything about it. I'm in the building all day. I just got a phone call, the child was missing. We go look in the van, the child is in there, and we're like he's dead. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, what's the name of the business?
Lake Medical Academy.
Lake what academy?
L-I-T-T-R, Lake Medical.
Okay. And does the child need medical attention?
The child is dead. From what I'm looking at, the child is dead.
Okay, is it... Okay, and it's in the van?
Yes.
Okay. And what is your name?
I don't give my name because I don't want to be a witness to this. I'm about to go into a stroke right now. Please.
Oh.
Just get somebody here.
Okay, we're going to get officers in an ambulance out there. What's your name again? Okay, and you just found the child?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Mom?
Okay. And how old is the child?
I just. You know what?
Ma'am.
He's gone.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, is the child a boy or girl?
Oh my God! Oh my God! Who's this?
Hello?
21-year-old Deborah St. Charles picked up Myles Hill at his home on the morning of August 7th and placed him on the driver's side rear bench before picking up 2 more children. She drove to Little Miracles Academy and parked, unloading what she presumed were all the children and bringing them into the center. The woman did not perform a head count, and the 3-year-old was marked present when he wasn't actually in class. Then St. Charles used the van to drive to another Little Miracles location and left it there, locking the car with Myles inside. By 3 p.m., the day's temperatures would have been up to 144 degrees Fahrenheit inside the van. Police were alerted to this situation when Myles' great-grandmother called the daycare to report the child had not been returned home. The boy's aunt, Barbara Livingston, said that when she asked daycare workers where her nephew was, they said he was gone. Livingston probed for more information, and the worker just pointed at the van. The driver was arrested and charged with aggravated manslaughter of a child over the death. St. Charles was not listed as an approved driver at the center. A medical examiner ruled it an accident, listing the cause of death as hypothermia, as a result of unbearable environment exposure. In St. Charles's arrest report, officials cited negligence, adding that too many children were riding in the van, and an 11-year-old was sitting in the front passenger seat, violating Florida rules. Daycare owner Audrey Thornton begged the boy's family for forgiveness at an emotional press conference.
I want to apologize to Myles, grandmother, Yvette, Chanel, and the whole Banks family. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm sorry, Yvette. I'm sorry, Chanel. I'm sorry for your loss. And I don't want y'all to be upset with me. And I loved Myles, and I took care of Myles since he was a baby. And if y'all can forgive me, I'm so sorry. Just give me a chance to come talk to you and explain to you what happened. And y'all know we friends, and we close. And I just had to get myself together. And I apologize. Please, Vet, please, Granny, please, Chanel, and please, the Banks family, let me come, and I will come talk to you guys, and I will explain to you. I apologize, Granny. Please, Granny, please forgive me from the bottom of my heart. I love y'all. Y'all know I loved all my kids at both locations. I took care of all my kids. I did what I could do to provide for them and teach them every day. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss, Viv. And Granny, I'm sorry.
The Florida Department of Children and Families revoked the daycare center's operating license indefinitely and fined it $2,750. In March 2020, Deborah St. Charles was sentenced to 10 years of supervised probation after taking a plea deal the October before the sentencing. On Sunday, February 6, 2022, 79-year-old Carol Wright was riding her bicycle from the Classic Bookshop to her home just south of Belvedere Road in Palm Beach. She made the 6-mile round trip frequently. However, while Wright was walking her bike across the Royal Park Bridge, the bridge opened and she fell off it. A witness called 911.
911, where's the location of your emergency?
Oh, I'm here by the bridge. I was skater with my skater, and I see one lady because the bridge was up, and I think one lady I don't know how to explain it, but she fell out. I mean, I think you guys can like whatever, but it's an emergency. She's on the water right now with his bike.
She's in the water?
Yeah, because I think she was in the middle of the bridge when the bridge is like starting up, and I was like with my skateboard. And I saw her, when I saw her, she was straight up. I think she said, I don't know if she's still alive, but she fell out on the floor. I don't know if it was in the water or in the floor, but it's the bridge here by Okeechobee.
Okay, are you
on the
you're on the east side of the bridge?
Yes. But please, just like, I'm going my work, so I just saw her fell out, and I just do the favor to call the 911, and you guys will take care. I mean, I don't know her.
Okay, you didn't see anything? You just saw her on the bridge and now you don't?
I just saw her. She was falling out by herself. I think she was in the middle of the bridge, and when the bridge was starting up, and he's falling out, and now he's in the water. I know he's still alive, but please just like.
Did you actually see her fall?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and you saw her fall into the water?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He's saying he saw a woman on a bike when the bridge went up, and he thinks she went into the water.
Yeah, she fell off. I was here. I'm going to my work, so I saw her. She was falling out. I was like, I thought she can't stay there, but she's an old lady. I think she's like 50 something like that, but she's an old lady. But I don't know. I think she died. I'm gonna go to work, and I'm just because there's no one right here, so that's why.
She fell off the middle bridge at Lakeview Avenue and Okeechobee?
Yeah, Lakeview Avenue is the correct address at the middle bridge.
Lakeview. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, so she fell off the bridge, or do you see her at all, sir?
Yes, I saw her with his bike.
You saw her what? I'm having a hard time.
I saw her because I don't know. You guys just come over because I'm gonna go to work, but I'm gonna wait here so you guys come and I'll explain to you.
Okay, what is your name and phone number? And Peter, you're on the way too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, hold on the line. Do you know what she was wearing, or if she was black, white, or Hispanic?
I think she was with a dress. I don't know how to explain it. It was like a spring dress. I don't know, something like that.
A spring colored dress, you said?
Yeah.
In the water?
Well, I just said her. She's not on the water. I guess she's on the floor right now. But I don't know how.
I don't know what he's saying.
Okay, so did she fall on cement or did she fall in the water?
I think on the cement. I don't think on the water. I really don't know because the bridge is just like. Yeah.
Okay. So you think she fell on the cement? Did you see any water splash at all or anything?
No, I don't. I really don't see. I just, I was like, I'm almost like, can you guys come and I can explain to you because I don't have too much time. I gotta go work.
You're gonna wait there?
I mean, yeah, if you guys can hear it.
We're already on the way.
Will you wait for fire rescue and PD?
Okay.
A witness told West Palm Beach police that Wright was trapped on the bridge roughly 10 feet from the crossing gates where she desperately clung to the railing. An unidentified skateboarder tried to grab her, Sadly, neither could hold on, and the 79-year-old fell about 50 feet to the concrete below. She was declared dead at the scene. 3 hours after the accident, detectives questioned the bridge tender on duty, 43-year-old Ardesua LaFay Polk. She was given a drug test and sent her home. In a report, her version of events was laid out. At 12:50 p.m., a boat called the bridge tender and asked her to open the span at 1 p.m. According to Polk, she walked onto the balcony to do her first check for pedestrians. Then she turned on the red lights, returned outside to see if all the cars had stopped, and noticed that one man was still running on the bridge. The tender said she then announced that the bridge was closing through its loudspeakers, waited until he crossed, and went inside the control room to lower the gates. Once the gates were lowered, Polk walked onto the balcony again to check for pedestrians. After one more trip inside, she returned to the balcony and again saw no one. The 43-year-old then allegedly made her second announcement and looked again before raising the bridge. The boat passed under the bridge, and Polk announced she was lowering the span. As the two parts of the bridge connected, a man knocked on the bridge house door and told the bridge tender that a woman had fallen off the bridge at 1:17 p.m. City police arrested the woman and charged her with manslaughter by culpable negligence. Polk told investigators that she did not see Wright, who fell 50 to 60 feet and landed on the span's concrete footings. They then obtained a warrant to search Polk's cell phone and determined she was not using her phone at the time of the incident. Police described the suspect as distraught on the day of the fall and said she cooperated with their investigation. They found that the bridge tender was texting with her supervisor, Kathy Harper, shortly before she raised the span. Further, Polk violated rules requiring tenders to step outside 3 times to visually check to ensure no traffic or pedestrians are on the bridge before opening it. Video showed the operator had not left the bridge tender's house for 4 hours before Wright's death. After finding out what happened, the Polk texted her supervisor, saying, "I killed a lady on the bridge." Harper told the operator to lie to the police about doing the checks and told Polk to delete the text exchange. Wright's family attorney, Lance C. Ivey, said the bridge tender should have seen the 79-year-old as she walked with her bicycle that afternoon. He also said she was on the bridge legally, there was no alarm or whistle. Ivey brought a lawsuit against Florida Drawbridges, and they agreed to pay $8.2 million to Carol Wright's family. At one point, Wright was a retired journalist who was the business editor of the Palm Beach Daily News. After leaving the paper, she was the spokesperson for the Palm Beach County Property Appraiser's Office. The family had already set aside $1 million of the proceeds to establish a scholarship at Wright's alma mater, the University of Miami. Priority will be given to first-generation college students. And in another nod to the legacy Wright will leave behind, the company agreed to require all bridge tenders to watch a 23-minute video Ivey's office prepared. It chronicles Wright's life, her death, and the pain it caused those who loved her. The Royal Park bridge tender and her supervisor were fired. In March 2022, Polk bonded out for $20,000. No updates on her court dates have been published. Just a reminder to use my coupon code TRUECALLS for 55% off at Scentbird. The link is in the description below. For more True 911 calls, watch this episode next. You can also let me know which call was your favorite in the comments below.